Hello, gang. Welcome to the show once again. It's Chris Reardon with you. Today's United Kingdom talk. I meant to tell you on the last show at the weekend. Do you remember I said that years ago when I first moved to Bracknell, there was a big pond I found over in the forest, and I've never been able to find it since. Well, I went out and purchased my cycling permit. Only £18 for the whole year. That's all right, isn't it? My sister says, why should you have to pay for that? I said, well, I mean, 18, you can't complain for £18. That is value for you. Can go out 365 days on your bicycle over into the forest for £18 a year. That sounds pretty good value to me. I'm not complaining of that one, dear. Not that I do complain about prices and things like that. You know me. I like to see value for money. 'Tis true. Anyway, so I did actually go over there, bought a permit and a little map on Sunday over into the Swinley Forest, which is just across the road from me. And I found the lake. I found that great big lake that I first bumped into, I don't know, blimey, 10, 12 years ago or more than that. So I'm quite pleased about that. And it's actually quite a long way into the forest. I would say it's a good, it must be a good half-hour, 40-minute cycle from here. But on the other hand, it's not exactly flat. It's all up and down. Oh, it's marvellous. And it reminded me of being a child again, to be honest. Because there I was, cycling up the hill. As you go harder and harder, and you're pushing, and the hill seems to get steeper and steeper. And then you get to the top, and you look down, and there's a hill at 45 degrees. But it's not, you see, the only thing is, it's not like a flat road. It's stones, and it's not what would you say? It's not complete, it's not completely rough. They kind of try to do something with it, but there's no tarmac. It's just like dirt and stones. And of course, you've got roots coming across it. Not ones that are like 2 foot up in the air, but nevertheless roots that are in the ground. So you've got to watch out for those. But I got to the top and I thought, I'm going to go for this. And off I went down there. But I put the brakes on. I couldn't just let go like you would have done when he was a child. Do you remember that? Who remembers being on a bicycle as a child and you just don't have any fear, do you? You get to the top of the hill, you let the brakes off, and you go for it. Hurtling down the hill I went, dear. And I have to say, I keep my eye on the ground. But what a fantastic experience. And it did bring me back those days when I was a child. So I'm quite pleased about that. I found the lake. I actually had a little walk around the lake to see if there was anywhere I could do the show. And actually, I couldn't find anywhere, which is a bit of a problem. Well, you remember, those of you that watched the show on YouTube, if you saw the one, I think was about 4 or 5 shows ago now, that I actually went to a very small lake, or even perhaps it was a pond. I don't know, what's the difference between a pond and a lake? I know ponds, mind you get big ponds, don't you? I don't know. It was just like a small lake, and we found somewhere to sit down on a couple of logs or a couple of tree stumps that had been cut down. But around the larger lake where I went to on Sunday, I couldn't find anywhere to do the show. So I might go and have another look down there. There must be something I can do. Perhaps I don't have one of those put together chairs, like the fishermen have. I suppose I could have one of those. But then again, I need somewhere to put the microphone as well. Otherwise, you won't be able to hear me. Just be complete silence, and those of you that watch will see my mouth moving, and those of you that listen won't be able to hear anything because there won't be any microphone. So I'll see if I can do it down there, okay? Now, talking of times when you was a child, I want to take you back, okay? Here's something for you to email in about. What would you like to do that you used to do as a child all over again? Now, it doesn't matter how old you are. You may be 20 now, or you may be 80 now, or in Joy's case, 82. Isn't it, Joy? Is it 82, Joy? Joy in Acton? Regular listener to the show via satellite, aren't you, my darling? Hello, Joy. Special kiss for you today. I don't know why. I just fancied giving you a kiss. There's another one for the other side of the cheek, all right? But what would you like to do that you used to do as a child? Let me read you this. Little things sent in by Richard in London, which I like very much. A man asked his wife what she'd like for her birthday. "I'd love to be 8 again," she replied. So, on the morning of her birthday, her husband arose early and made her a bowl of Cocoa Pops and jammy toasties. He took her to Alton Towers and put her on every ride in the park. The Death Slide, the Wall of Fear, the Screaming Monster roller coaster. 5 hours later, she staggered out of the theme park. Her head was reeling and stomach felt upside down. Right away, they went to a McDonald's, where her loving husband ordered her a Happy Meal with extra fries and a refreshing chocolate milkshake. Then it was off to the movies. The latest kiddies 3-hour epic cartoon. A hot dog, popcorn, all the Coke she could drink. Her favourite lolly and M&M's. What a fabulous adventure. Finally, she wobbled home with her husband and collapsed onto the bed, exhausted. He leaned over his precious wife with a big smile and lovingly asked, "Well, dear, what was it like being 8 again?" Her eyes slowly opened, and her expression changed to one of total realization. She said, "I meant my dress size, you idiot." I love it. The moral of this story is, even when a man is listening, he's still going to get it wrong. Thank you for that one, Richard. Love it. But what would you like to do? If you could be, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever. What would you like to do again as a child? Maybe on your next birthday. Maybe you could do that. Why not? You only live once, didn't you? Me? Well, I think one of the things I used to like doing was actually cycling, and I've never really given that up. What I like to do is 8 again. I'd like my parents back, of course. I don't know. Here's one. In the Scouts, when I was about 14 in the Scouts, every Thursday after Scouts, a few of us, about 3 or 4 of us, would go up to the local chip shop and have a portion of chips. And we would sit, this is up Roehampton High Street, it was Nick's, I believe it was called Nick's Fish Bar. So we'd finish Scouts, that finished I think about 9:30 at night. We'd then walk up to Roehampton High Street, which is in London, Southwest 15. We'd all buy some chips, we'd walk up a little bit further, and we'd sit on the step outside a shop. Now, which shop was it? Possibly the Florist's, which was next to some stairs. And we'd eat the chips. And after that, we'd go up to the minicab office, where they had a couple of video machines. Now, of course, this would have been in the days that you couldn't get video consoles for your home. The only video games there were set out like fruit machines, I suppose. You know, big things with a television screen and a little joystick and what have you. And we'd go in the minicab office and play on the arcade machines for a while. Those machines were Pac-Man, Asteroids, and Space Invaders. And I was never ever any good at Space Invaders. I wasn't keen on Asteroids, but I was good at Pac-Man. What did I used to get through to? Well, it was the strawberry, the orange. What else was it? I can't remember the other ones on Pac-Man. I'd like to do that again. Another couple of things I'd like to do is and I've actually thought about doing this, is actually going round to where we lived in Roehampton when I was at school. Maybe one morning, getting to Roehampton at 7:30 in the morning and doing the trip that I used to do to school. So I'd park my car outside our old house. I'd walk to the bus stop, get the number 85 bus to Putney Bridge tube station, then get the tube just, I think it was 2 stops from Putney Bridge station to Fulham Broadway. Get out at Fulham Broadway and walk to the school. Of course, I wouldn't be able to go in, just stop at the gates. I don't know why, but I'd like to do that trip again. A couple of other trips I'd like to do. Again, similar thing, park outside my own house and walk. We used to walk to my primary school, which was the Sacred Heart School on Roehampton Lane. That's about a 30-minute walk there. We used to get the bus usually, but sometimes buses weren't always reliable back in the 70s, and we would walk. We'd wait a while, and eventually we'd walk. We couldn't be bothered to wait anymore. And the other one I'd like to do is, again, another journey from our old house to my work, which was in Wimbledon. And that was a cycle ride. I used to leave the house at varying different times. It depended what time you started work. Used to leave that house and then cycle, firstly across a very busy main road. Well, it was busy then. God knows what it's like now. Probably have to use the traffic lights now. So across the main Roehampton Lane, onto Putney Heath, and then through onto Wimbledon Common, over there, and I ended up at Wimbledon. All across the Common. A beautiful journey that was. There's 3 things I'd like to do that I used to do when I was younger. Now, what about you? Okay, it can be anything, whatever. What would you like to do again that you did as a child? Let me know on the email. It's chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Well, what else have I done this week? Yet another bulb. Where's my pen gone? 1 minute. There it is. Got to cross these things out, you see. Otherwise, I start talking about them all over again. You know how it is with the memory loss, dears. Yeah, another bulb in my car has gone. Can you believe it? Once again, I have been very butch, and I changed the bulb myself. And do you know what? I've got to say, it's getting easier. I've got a Toyota Aygo, and the headlamp bulbs are not in a particularly easy, accessible place. It's all very different when you open up the manual that come with the car. And it says, just put your hand in, release the clip, push it to one side, and out will pop the bulb. Why, oh why isn't it as easy as that? However, I've done a few bulbs in there now, and it is getting easier. This time, it was a little side light. They're tiny little bulbs, these side lights. And for some reason, after a period of time, they go black and stop working again. Do you ever have that? So there we are, done that bulb. One of my mates had a little bit of trouble with his car this week, unfortunately. Now, he actually drives one of the artistes that I work with on a Sunday. His name's Tom. And on Sunday, he came into the pub and he says, do you know, I was I dropped someone off. I got out of the car, went to get something, come back, and there was a woman sitting on his bonnet. And cars are not, you know, you can't sit on the bonnet of a car anymore and not dent it. It's not like the old cars of the 60s and 70s, made of proper hard metal. These things are made of plastic now, so when you sit on them, they just go, don't they? I said, what did you do? He said, I told her to get off it. I said, oh, taking a risk there. He said, oh, well, she can't sit on the car. So that was that. So I thought. The evening went on. The artiste went on the stage. I put her on the stage. She went off. Off they went. See you next week. And that was it. The night went on. I finished at 2 o'clock. Drove back here. I got back here. Turned the computer on. And there's a message on the Facebook from my mate Tom saying, "Oh yeah, that was clever of me, weren't it?" Got back to the car and there was a big key mark all down the side of it. Isn't that horrible, eh? To do something like that. And then he wrote to me, he says, "I think in future I'll park it down a side street where people can't see it so much." I said, "I think you're asking for trouble there, because the area I work in, Clapham, at a night time, you don't really want to go down some of those side streets. You know what I mean? Stick to the main road where the lights are." And I said to him, I said, I think you should stay on the main road. I don't think you're any particularly safer down those side roads. In fact, I don't feel safe when I'm walking down those side roads. So that's bad news, isn't it? Anything like that happened to you before, when you've said something to someone and it's come back at you? I think that's a horrible thing. Let us know, Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, I was shocked and horrified, boys and girls, to hear that Ross P from the Ross Patzelt Talk Show, which you can find at rosspatzelt.co.uk. I was shocked and horrified to hear that he doesn't like cats. Oh, just a minute. My cats aren't hearing that, are they? Because they will be ever so upset. You know I don't have the cats come into the house. Well, they come into the kitchen, but not the rest of the house. Sometimes, and I've mentioned this before, Katie, she's the younger one, she does manage somehow to get the kitchen door open, and she comes up the stairs. And yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before, I think, I was sitting in the office doing something, and I heard a meow. And I said, "Is that you, Katie?" And I looked out the door, and she walks past. Meow. I said, "Katie, is that you?" Meow. And she walked past the other way. But she didn't come into the room. What's all that about? Katie. She walked past again. Meow. And now, Susan, our cat lover, what was she doing? Does that mean something? She kept walking past the door. Eventually, I went out, picked her up and brought her in. And she stayed. And then I had to take her back downstairs again. Because I shouldn't really come into the house. It mucks about with me asthma a little bit. But what was all that about? She kept walking past the door with her towel straight up. Meow. Oh, sorry, I just banged the microphone. And walks past. Meow. Very odd indeed. Susan, tell me, is the cat protecting me, or what's she doing there? Please, that must signify something. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. But I'm afraid to say, I wrote Ross from rosspatzelt.co.uk. I wrote him an email and said I had ordered him some cats for his new house when eventually they move in, which will probably be about 4 or 5 months' time. And he said, "Cats, no thank you." So I've got to be quiet because the cats might hear. I don't think Ross likes cats. I wonder why that is. Why don't you like our little furry pussy friends, dear? Pussycat, pussycat, what can you dare? I frightened a little mouse under the stairs. Pussycat, pussycat. Huh? Why don't you like the cats? Maybe the cats don't like you. Have you had a bad experience with a cat? Maybe he was in bed one night. Because, Ross, don't be nasty to Pussy. Because Pussy will get you. Be warned. Don't let cats know that you don't like them, because they will get all their cat friends together and they will get you. Yes, be warned. I reckon Ross was in bed one night, or he will be. If the cats find out about this, Ross, you'll be in bed one night and one will quietly climb into your window. Might be more than one. And then wait till you snore. Shh. Shh. And then slowly the cat will tiptoe, climbing up your duvet. And then he will climb over to you and lay across your mouth. And you will suffocate! So don't be nasty to cats. I can't believe it, Ross. Why don't you like cats? They're lovely, purring away, little friendly things, except for my older one. She's a miserable cow. You don't want her, do you? I've been giving her sardines. She loves sardines and tins of mackerel. And do you know what? It's cheaper than the cat food. How is that? I get it from Asda, my favourite shop in the whole wide world, Asda. Oh, incidentally, Suko, I haven't been to Morrison's this week for my weekly fried breakfast. Shock horror. Dear me. So that's that. What else have I been doing? Oh, I trimmed my bush this week. Yes, I did. I trimmed my bush. Was looking. Oh, it's all overgrown, all over the place. It was, and I thought, well, we're just coming into winter now, and of course we had quite a nice few days last week. So I got my hedge trimmer out, and I trimmed my bush. I did the one out the front, and I actually. There was a bit that grows up there that I keep trimming, and it just doesn't look right. So eventually I got my saw out. Even more butch than replacing a light bulb, okay, in the car. Even more butcher than that, I have sawn down a tree. God's sake, where's it all going to stop? Next thing, they'll be ringing me up. Hello, Chris. Is that Butch, Chris Reardon? Yes, would you like to come and work on my building site? Yes, please. Yes, please. I mean, I can always make the tea, can't I, and cut up the oranges. Perhaps pop to the shop for the lads to get the biscuits and things like that. Huh? Yeah, we like that. We like that. So that's that. What else have I got to tell you? Oh, mobile phones. I'm afraid technology once again has beaten me. Okay, on my Sanyo mobile phone, I do believe someone tried to send me a business or V card. Don't know what to do with it. I opened it and nothing happened. Why do people try and be clever and send things like business cards? Couldn't you just send a text? It's so much easier, dears. I can't open these things. It's like the delicious... oh my God, I've forgotten her name. Ivona. Beg your pardon, Ivona. Oh, she'll never forgive me that. Ivona in Slovakia. Now, she has on occasion sent me pictures to the email via her mobile phone. And you then have to go to the Orange website and open them or something like that. I can't work out. The trouble is, it's all in Slovak. And me, being an ignorant English person, I'm afraid cannot speak Slovak or understand it on there. So I wasn't able to open them. Please don't be clever and try and send things like that, dear. Don't be clever. All right? So I couldn't open this business card. No idea what that was. Got to say hi to, let me see, Sergi. Sergi, our friend, who has recently been to Greece, and he came back into the pub on Sunday night, and he ran up to me, arms open like that. Hi, Chris, how are you? I've been to Greece. Don't worry, I didn't miss a single one of your shows. I should hope not, Sergi. Be very disappointed if you miss anything. Sergi is a regular person. He comes in one of the pubs I work at on Sunday night, haven't you? Lovely. Now, there's one place I've never been, Greece. I gather it's a little bit expensive now. Never used to be. You see, that's the trouble with these holiday places. When they start getting busier, they put all the prices up. And they keep doing it, and then people get fed up. I gather the place to go now for English people is Turkey. That's quite good value for money, Turkey. So it used to be Spain, then it was Greece, and now it's Turkey. Or Ibiza. I've been to Ibiza once in 1999. I had a good time there with my was actually with my lodger at the time, Lewis. That was nice, Ibiza. There's some very nice places there. Always lots to look at. You've never seen so many heavenly bodies laying on a beach. You really haven't. Okay, off we go then. Let's go on to the emails. First of all, we finished off the last show with part of an email from our friend Bob the Viking in Iceland. You know Bob, he's the one holding on to all the money at the moment. He said, I smiled when you were talking in a previous show about reversing a van. Yep, I used to drive when I worked for British Telecom. one of the telephone companies here. I used to have a very large van to drive. Well, it wasn't actually large, but it was cumbersome. It was I think it was a Ford Transit, but the back of it had a big box on, and it overhang. It was wider, okay? And you couldn't see directly behind you. You had to rely on your side mirrors. So if you reversed and you didn't know what was behind you, you would have to get out of the van and look behind you first. I hated reversing that thing. He said, because it brought to mind a time when we were being pushed back from the gate. Because when he says push back from the gate, Bob used to be a pilot flying the beautiful big birds that we see in the sky today. You know, the big ones. Not the little ones, which he does fly now, but he used to fly the jumbos. Yep. He said, when we were being pushed back from the gate and nearly ran over a guy who was in charge of the ground crew. God, blimey. You wouldn't stand... I mean, you might stand a bit of a chance if a Mini runs over you, but not one of those jumbos, I wouldn't have thought. He said, on the subject of checking, you correctly said that we have to do this, that's checking the aeroplane before it goes up, because a problem at 35,000 feet can be interesting. However, dear friends, aircraft are very strong, and it is surprising just how strong they are. Add to this, most of the systems are duplicated or triplicated, then one soon starts to understand just how safe flying is. If we have a problem doing a flight, then we will have often rehearsed this on simulators. Believe me, when flying over towns, I do so count myself lucky not to be down there with the crazy drivers. And it's true enough. Thank you, Bob. And I hope those nasty emails have stopped as well, okay? You had a couple of nasty emails from people who assume, I did tell you this before, who assume that one person represents the whole country, and of course they don't. But Bob, I'm going to ask again, please can we have our money back? I see what you mean about crazy drivers. I see them all the time. That's unbelievable. And sometimes in situations like where there's loads of fog, and I'm there in the slow lane doing 30 mile an hour because you can't see your hand in front of your face, and there's these idiots in the fast lane doing 70, 80 miles. I mean, even at 30 mile an hour in thick fog, you've got a chance of hitting something. But I'd like to think perhaps that you might stand a better chance of hitting something at 30 mile an hour rather than 80 or 90, which some of these idiots are doing. Thank you, Bob. Let's say hi to Joe. It's our mate Joe. Oh, hang on a minute. I've got some papers on the floor here. Nearly forgot about those. Oh, dear, dear me. There we are. Put those back up there. Hello, Joe from AmericanTalkUSA.com. Another podcast. Okay. He says, RE, your October the 18th show. I totally agree. Irvin, who is one of my Facebook friends. Irving, you can join me on Facebook. Just look me up, Chris Reardon, London. Okay, Chris Reardon, London, and you'll see me sitting there in a posh armchair with a cup of tea. It's true. I totally agree. Irvin has got to be Wayne Anonymous in disguise. We think so as well, yes. There is no way two people on this earth could write in that unique, bizarre commentary style. Fess up, Wayne. We love it. From Joe at AmericanTalkUSA.com. Thank you. I did hear, by the way, Joe, Ross P from rosspatzout.co.uk, his radio show. I did hear him trying to do an impression of you. From Joe of an AmericanTalkUSA.com. And it's got to be one of the worst impressions I've ever heard, Joe. I have to say that. And besides, he doesn't like cats. So I've actually gone right off Ross because he doesn't like cats. Suko in New York writes, Dear Chris, one of our mutual Facebook friends has been in touch with me and tells me he has been living in your shed. Well, which one, Suko? I have two sheds. Oh, yes, dear. Not just the one. It's 2 sheds. One is a shed in the middle of the garden, and the other is a lean-to. I've just dropped my pen. 1 minute. Do you reckon I can pick that up with my feet? I hate that, didn't you? People pick... Hang on a minute. Oh, no, I can't pick it up. 1 minute. Here we are. Got it. Well, I have 2 sheds in my garden, Suko. Do you mean the shed in the middle of the garden or the lean-to? Oh, yes, dear. It's not a small garden. Pardon? It's not a small garden. You don't think I live in have a small garden, do you? Not the runway. I have a oh, what do you call it now? Oh, what's that when you have outside your driveway? You know my driveway. Well, put it this way: if you was to leave the house at 4 o'clock, you'd get to the end of the driveway at about 4:45. Travelling at 70 miles an hour. Although sometimes you are slowed down because bushes and rose bushes, it all grows wild here. Rose bushes, you'd have to hack your way through the rose bushes. I mean, I've even got plants now what have moved into the house. I don't bring these plants in. They're so strong and they push themselves through the gaps in the window. Suko says, once again, one of our mutual Facebook friends has been in touch with me and he says he's been living in your shed. He's complained to me about the excessive heat, cat hair, and the fact that he keeps getting stuck when trying to go in and out of the cat flap. He's also tired of using the kitty litter box and says it's very scary at night due to the pitch darkness. Knowing that we're friends, he asked me to see what I could do about it. I'm hoping you will address these issues as soon as possible for Irving's sake. I know he can be sloppy, grumpy and lazy, but everyone deserves to be treated humanely. Yours truly, Suko Sullivan, US diplomat to Reardon Town. Reardon Town, of course, if you're a new viewer or listener, Reardon Town is our very own town that we are hoping to buy at some point. And we're going to invite all listeners and viewers to the show to move into the town. But you need to have something to offer the rest of the community. There will be no money. Okay? You will need to be able, maybe you're a doctor, or a nurse, or a pilot, as in Bob's case. Bob will be running a fleet of Reardon Town aircraft, but he probably won't need to do a lot of work because no one will ever want to leave Reardon Town. We will all be a happy, happy community. Do you like the sound of that? Everyone will be invited, all religions, colours and creeds. But there are only a couple of rules. You must be able to get on with everyone else. And you must have some sort of thing that you can offer to everyone else. Mine will be doing regular programmes here for you. Little news updates, things what people have been doing, maybe awards that people's children have won. It will all be here on United Kingdom Talk. And Suko has got quite a few positions already within Reardon Town, one of which is diplomat to Reardon Town. We love it. Thank you, Suko. And look who it is. It's Gema. Gema from Spain. Hola. Hola. Vida la 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 la, viva España. Da, 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 da. Oh no, we sang in the last show, didn't we? Gemma writes, hello Chris. I'm still catching up with your shows. Very much in delay since last summer. God, she's working through them all. But I heard in the last show that you like Gregorian chant. I certainly do. Kyrie, oh, I love it. Latin Gregorian chant in particular I like. Gemma says, I like it too, and I listen to it from time to time. Now, I'm surprised at this. I thought it was a really niche thing. And you see, you just never know, because you start talking about something and you find someone else is into it too. I have a friend who works in the opera house in Madrid, and he gave me a CD from an unknown group that somebody passed on to him. It's got amazing music on it, not purely Gregorian, but I'm sure you'll love it. Thanks again, and love your show, from Gemma. Well, Gemma, send it through, my darling. She does say here she tried to send me one of the tracks on the email, but that hasn't worked, I'm afraid. I wasn't able to. I think 2 seconds of something arrived and nothing else. So we didn't get that working, I'm afraid, Gemma. But yes, I'd love to hear from it, my darling, if you want to send that through, okay? Do you want to send it in the post? I don't know if you might want to send it on separate tracks. You might want to send it in the post. I'll give you the postal address. Okay, actually, we haven't given that out for a couple of shows. I shall be giving you the postal address very shortly this evening, today, boys and girls. So go and get yourself a pen ready. Meanwhile, it's Paul. It's our mate Paul from Ashby. How are you, sir? Yes. Hi, Chris. I'm glad it's not me who's getting spiders galore recently. Now, do you remember I said to you in the last show, I seem to be getting an awful lot of spiders, both inside and outside the house, which I've got to say isn't too much of a problem. I don't tend to clear them away. Anyone else do this? I mean, is there any in here? Let me have a look. I don't think we've got any in this room, actually. No, but I have seen a couple of... Is there one up there? No. Oh, yeah, there's one up there. There's a very small one up in the corner up there. But I tend to leave them unless they're really big, in which case I put them in a glass and put them outside. I don't kill spiders. There are a few small spiders I have given home to here in the Mirable Studios. You see, I am a true animal lover. We love our little pets. And they just sit there, even in the bedroom. Believe it or not, even in the bedroom, I've sat there laying in bed, open my eyes while laying there on my back on my electric blanket, and seen a little spider perhaps scurrying away along the ceiling. And I leave it there. Don't need to get rid of it. Do need to get rid of flies and wasps. Oh, I hate them. Bzz, buzzing. Oh, isn't that annoying when you get a fly in the bedroom? I remember being in Italy once. Italia! Ciao! Ciao, bella Maya! Just like a mummy used to make. Was in Italy once. I was lying there in bed and I could hear. It was a mosquito. Aren't they loud? What's it with mosquitoes? Is it some sort of statement they're making? Buzzing away. Bzzz. It was sounded just like the mosquito that you get on some of the cartoon programs like Tom and Jerry or what was the other? Or Bugs Bunny. And you get an insect and they're really loud. Bzzz, and they're really loud, these insects. And they're running around with a fly squatter. It sounded just like that. The flies in the UK do not sound like that. They're fat and they're ugly flies in the UK. I'm sorry. Whereas the mosquitoes are kind of cute and little, aren't they? But some of them carry such awful, awful diseases. And I remember this mosquito in Italy, and I thought, oh, I'll just ignore it and go to sleep. You cannot ignore a mosquito. Blooming noise this thing makes. Got it in the end with a pillow. Squat! Dead! Goodbye, mosquito! I hope the Lord above will forgive me for ending the life of that poor little fly. So spiders I do tend to leave in the corner. I think they do catch flies and things like that. They just sit there and it doesn't bother me at all. Little spiders in the house. In Australia, different thing altogether. They bite. Ha! They stick their fangs into you. Do you remember my cousin? I told you about my cousin Tim, who lives in Australia. And his children were playing in the garden out there in Sydney. And he came across a large spider. Very large spider. And just with his hand, he tried to waft it away. Well, the thing jumped onto his hand and bit him. Oh! Oh! This thing jumped him. It attacked. Known as an aggressive spider. I did have someone sent in There it is. I'll read this to you in a second. There we are. I've got that. Paul was saying, I can be sitting watching TV and a spider will run across the floor, and they are extra big this year. Some of them must be around 2 to 3 inches across. And I admit on occasions I do use the vacuum cleaner. Well, you've got to be very quick, actually, haven't you? Because spiders do tend to run away from you. You've got to be very quick with that vacuum cleaner. I usually catch them and put them outside, but this time it was a monster. Yeah, it's not nice when they're big, is it? It's horrible. Paul, do you remember the Doctor Who with John Pertwee when he did a series called Planet of the Spiders? Did you ever see that? Paul, highly recommend. Find that it is on eBay. Okay, quite often I do see that one on eBay. I've got it. It is, I think, my favourite because it's actually it's hilarious. It is hilarious. Doctor Who, Planet of the Spiders with John Pertwee. If you haven't seen that, get it on eBay or something like that. Or have you seen that and what did you think about it? It's going way back to the 70s. And that was the episode when the Doctor changed from John Pertwee to Tom Baker. And the end of it is hilarious. It's got this great big spider in a cave and it starts screaming, ah, ah! Have you seen it, Paul? Paul also says, also snails. You're getting them and so am I. I'm sick to death of snails and slugs this year. It was just as bad last year. I've never seen so many snails and slugs. They are taking over. He says, every time you go into the garden, there they are. Quite often, I hear a crunch on entering the garden via the patio doors. Me too. Poor old snails. Still, they do eat all the blooming plants. And they do. Well, I had that pepper plant, didn't I? I was going to try and grow peppers. And they ate the peppers. He says, is it too early? Not according to news. As I heard today... Oh, sorry. Loving the show still, Chris. Keep up the good work, and may I be the first to wish you a Merry Christmas. No, you may not. It's too early. I don't want any Christmas wishes until the second week in December, please. He says, is it too early? Not according to the news, as I heard today that some counties have already got the Christmas lights up. October the 15th. God's sake. Personally, I think Christmas should be saved for December. Yeah, so do I, Paul. Oh, I hate all this too earliness. Although I have to say, I was in Bentl's, which is a department store in Bracknell, and they've got the toys out. And I have to admit, I did go around the toy department in Bentl's last week, having a little look at all these bits and having a little play with the things that they have out. Because when you go in a department store, quite often they have little toys that are out that you can play with. But I was most disappointed to find that this year they do not seem to have a Hornby railway layout. Last year they had one. There is no electric train set. Not only that, but I don't think I actually saw any electric train sets this year. And last year, I'm sure they had a load of them. Because apparently electric train sets are making a bit of a comeback, which pleases me. I love my electric trains. They've got plenty of Scalextrics and plenty of like Lego stuff. But I didn't see any electric trains in there. Maybe they haven't put them out yet. No, I shall report back next week. I shall go back down Bentl's and perhaps tomorrow or the day after and have another look to see if the electric train sets are out. And while I'm there, because it is quite near to Morrison's, Suko, I'll probably go to Morrison's and have a full English breakfast in there. We love it. Now, I think it was Paul also sent this in. Now, I said to you, I don't mind having spiders in the house, because here in the UK we do not have poisonous spiders. However, little article from the BBC news sites. Exotic species of spiders, scientists are saying, are now making their homes in the UK. Now, researchers have said that spiders arriving in imports of food and plants are now able to survive here because it's becoming warmer in the UK. Now, these new spiders include a species of false widow spider, and some believe the deadly black widow could be the next one to arrive. Now, there's a conservation group, Bug Life, and they want important rules to be strengthened to stem the tide of these spiders coming in. So it's all very worrying. A director of Bug Life said other countries in the world take great care about what biological stuff comes in because it can contain pests that can damage our goods, our livelihoods, our health, our biodiversity, and of course us. What's that noise? What's that? It was someone mowing the grass. What a cheek. Mowing the grass while I'm doing my chatter or my Twitter. That's another word for chat, isn't it? Twitter. You can actually get this show on Twitter, incidentally, those of you that are members of that, okay? He was saying currently in the UK we have a fairly laissez-faire attitude. There's an open licence for people to bring in dangerous pests, and it's all very worrying. Someone else said about the false widow spider is actually native to southern Europe, West Asia and North Africa. It's about 1.5 centimetres big, so not that large actually. 1.5 centimetres is only about, but they can bite. I don't think those ones are poisonous, but of course if that black widow comes over it, we don't like dangerous spiders. Very scary. So I wonder, are you in the UK and have you seen a dangerous spider here? Do let us know. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Maybe we should all go on the internet and see what these things look like. Because if there's a black widow, I'm sorry, I'm not having one of those in the house. No, I'm not. I wonder what eats black widows. Perhaps I should get one of those in. Whatever that is. It's probably some sort of bird-eating spider or something like that. Ah, look, it's Ross P, who says, "Hi, Grandad." Thank you very much. Ross P thinks I am the granddad of podcasting. I don't know if that's a good thing or is it a bad thing, but anyway, he says, "Hi, Grandad. On the subject of Suko," and I love her name, "she was talking about you being able to fill up drinks in McDonald's or refill drinks. Now, in America, you buy a cup of Coke, or you spend. Suko recommends you spend 99 cents on the cheapest Coke that you can buy in McDonald's, right? Because once you've got the cup, you just keep filling it up. You have as much as you want. I mean, obviously, you know, they know you can't drink any more than 2 or 3 cups of this blooming stuff, don't they? But it's just a nice way of going about it, I think. Actually, it's coming back to me now. Look, when I've been in America, when I've ordered a McDonald's, it's, yeah, you get the cup. They give you a cup. And then you just go and help yourself to the ice and the drink. I remember that now. Here in the UK, certainly in the McDonald's I've been to here, that doesn't happen. The Coke is behind the counter. You have to ask for it, and they give you a cup of Coke. There's no refills. Well, Ross says, here in Norfolk, I've seen a McDonald's where you can fill up your Cokes again and again. He says, well, I'm not sure if you're actually allowed to fill it up again and again, but I do. Well, I'm not surprised at that, Ross, to be honest. Me and Donna, his girlfriend, take my nieces and nephews to Mackie D's. That's what some of the kids call McDonald's here, Mackie D's. Once every couple of months, and they love filling up the Coke and putting the sauce in them little cups. I like little cups of sauce. They're camp, they are, aren't they? Thank you, Ross. And Ross did send me a picture of what I thought was his girlfriend. And quite honestly, she looks a bit scary to me, Ross. There she was. Well, on this particular website, if it is her, she's 45 years old. Bear in mind, Ross is, I think, 27 or 28. And she had a cowboy hat on. And she's a singer. Now, is that really your girlfriend, Ross? Because I don't think it is. If it is, well, I don't know what to say, really. strange-looking character she is, I must say. Thank you, Ross. Hello to Matty. Matty in Australia. And says, Ross P has been talking about you. Don't you think he is older than you, like 10,000 centuries old? Matty wants to know, well, you see, the thing is with Ross, Matty, he actually lives in a hovel. It's a dreadful place he lives in. I mean, I never... And they're going to buy a house. Now, he says... He sent me a link to this picture of a very large house. I don't think that's where he's going, you know. I reckon him and Donna, with her cowboy hat, have bought a small caravan. I didn't know it was possible to buy caravans that small. I think they're going to be travellers. There's nothing wrong with being a traveller, but I reckon that's what Ross is going to do. He's going to be a gypsy. Not a proper gypsy in those those beautiful I don't know what are they called, the things that the proper gypsies live in. Not travellers. Travellers are in caravans, aren't they? Gypsies are in those lovely wooden things with the windows and pulled by horses. Beautiful things that they live in. I reckon Ross has bought a small caravan. Yeah, that's what I reckon, Matty. Thank you, Matty. And on to Tommy. It's Tommy, our friend in Japan. How are you? Not Tommy, Toby. Oh. Got that wrong. Sorry, Toby. Who says, Kanako's birthday has successfully passed. Thank you for your singing, which helped. Yes, we sang happy birthday twice. She got it twice, didn't she, eh? I bought her a birthday pizza instead of a birthday cake because I gathered her parents would buy her a cake. So I've better not overlapped it. Well done. Very clever, very clever. But in Japan, they make Napoleon-style pizzas, of which the crust is very thin. I quite like the thick, the thick crust pizzas that you can get from Pizza Hut. They're the ones I like. Or, oh no, my favourite pizzas are Domino's. Oh, I do love a Domino's pizza, and I have extra tomatoes and cheese and pineapple on the top. I haven't had one of those for ages, actually. I couldn't stick the candles in very well. They kept leaning over. Oh, there's nothing worse than when they lean over, is it? I hate that. You put them in, and gradually they just lean to one side. Of course, that's what happens with the Leaning Tower pizza, isn't it? The leaning... There's no Mona Lisa at the Leaning Tower of Pisa. That's an old song that we used to sing in the Scouts when I used to be in the Scout Gang show. What was it called? La da da, I know an angel who beckons to me. Da 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 da. I know where I go. Used to go like, here it comes, here comes. There's no Mona Lisa like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. You better know that the angel is your home. Oh, I used to be in Scout Gang shows. Was anyone else watching or listening to the show ever in a Scout Gang show? I was in the first Roehampton Scout Gang show and also in the Down South, the South London Scout Gang show. Was anyone ever in those, or indeed any others all over the world? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you if you ever did that. What songs did you used to sing? Let me know. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. He goes on to say, the candles were leaning everywhere. I bought a 30-centimetre diameter pizza to make sure I could stand 20 candles on it. I ordered smoked salmon asparagus. He said that was delicious. Oh no, not my cup of tea, smoked salmon. I'm not keen on fish at all. He says, however, I caught a very strange disease which has been making me suffer for 5 weeks. Not from the pizza, surely. I kept feeling I got in my throat trapped. Something was trapped in my throat somewhere. I've seen the doctor 5 times. The ear, nose and throat doctor gave me an antibiotic drip which was helpful for a time, but I could not completely stop the bad throat. He used an endoscope to stick through my left nasal passage. Oh, how vile. Oh, I couldn't have that done, dear. No. But nothing could be found. Tomorrow, I might ask him to see my right nasal passage. Yesterday, I blowed bits of blood out from my nose and my left ear couldn't hear well. That was scary. It's not sounding too good. I think you need to get back down that doctor. Or can he go to another one? Second opinion, perhaps. Might be an idea. Go and see another doctor, perhaps. I feel my body is very weak. I'm so frustrated. I have muscle ache. The one that you have after a fever, and runny nose, coughing, continuous sneezing. I just suspect there are bits trapped in my throat, but they deny that possibility. I suddenly come up with a thought. I have a desire to be hospitalised, where people prepare food for me and take care of me. I can leave all of my work behind. Of course, I know it's not practical, just a thought, and that's from Toby in Japan. Toby, I think you need to go back down the doctor's, mate. Go to another one. Try another one. You need a second opinion, okay? Now, just before you go, today, thanks for your emails, of course. The address, if you want to write in, is Chris Reardon, United Kingdom Talk, P.O. Box 4073, Bracknell, Bracknell, RG 429ED. All right, once again, it's Chris Reardon, United Kingdom Talk, P.O. Box 4073, Bracknell, Bracknell, RG 429ED, United Kingdom. Time for me to go. As always, thanks for watching and listening to the show. You can email as well, of course, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. See you for the next show. Bye-bye now.